Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence. I'm your host, James Windsor-Smith. Now, on Saturday, I received 2 packages in the mail. The first package was the video that I showed you yesterday, featuring Schlepzig and basically all his work, all his comics and stickers. Some really cool stuff, as you saw for yourself. If not, check out the video. I'll put a link below so you can check it out. But today is all about the 3T book. This is Told to Tell. Now, this is organized by the Lone Stranger, who you may know. He's also part of the cartoonist Kayfabe group, as well as Outstanding Achievement. Well, he put this book together. Now, he actually included, and I think that everybody gets this when they order this book, this mini comic by Jake Kelly. Jake Kelly is also the cover artist on the main book that he sent. Here, I'll flip it over because I really, really love the back cover. It's pretty vulgar seeing a cock on a book like that, but hey, what are you going to do in these modern times? All right. Speaking of pathetically awesome, let's take a look at this book then. First off, the cover is a die cut. That's a really cool, innovative way to approach this, especially with a mini book. You really want your mini book to stand out. And he used a very thick paper on the cover, which was differentiating from the interiors. Now, when you look at his style, first off, it's amazing stuff. And secondly, I really think of Charles Burns when I look at this stuff. But I also see something a little more cartoony, like Terry Laban. You have to remember him. He did Eno and Plum. I'm not sure what his main thing he'd be known for is. But anyways, he's definitely got a lot of influences. But he also brings himself to the table. There's something really cool about the way he draws, that I think that his experiences have really come up with something dark, yet something very beautiful here. Now, I'm not going to go too far because I don't want to spoil the story. Needless to say, this is about a serial killer, or I guess a spree killer is more like it. But if you really want this, or if you want to see more of this, he is at Colored Condor. That's on Instagram, I believe. If it turns out it's somewhere else, like Twitter, I will put that in the comments. No worries. In fact, that goes for everybody involved in this book. Speaking of this book, let's give this a look. Now, just a heads up, these stories are done in independent and cool styles. I am not familiar with everybody and their work on this project, so I'm just going to give you a list of the authors as I go here. Before I go here, actually. Now, the first thing is the cover is Jake Kelly. Then, The Adventures of Momo is by Steve and Scott Wygmans. Then, Tears of the Leather-Bound Saint is by Casanova Frankenstein. Shout out to Casanova. It's one of the names I was familiar with when I got this. Then it's Kmart Magic by Glenn Pearce. Milk and Cream by Josh of Grand Rapids, another artist I know well. I did follow everybody on here on Instagram. When I looked up their usernames earlier, and I found that he was the only person I didn't have to follow. I already was. So there we go. That then How to Make a Monster, once again by Glenn Pearce, and that's actually with Casanova. Okay. Then there in the middle part is an image of Faust number 15. It says sketch cover. Now, my cover isn't full color, but it's really beautiful and really, really vulgar, as you'll see for yourself. That's a trademark of Tim Visual that we all grew up with. All right, next we have Tales from the Grixley Files by Nate McDonough. Sorry, I'm gonna butcher your names here. Sorry. uh, then we have The Gloaming, once again by Hans Rickett. Then Unsmooth by E.S. Glenn. Then Blue Lines by Nate McDonough again. The Year I Lost My Mind by Casanova Frankenstein and Glenn Pearce, once again. Then A Little Unusual but Mostly Alright by Glorp. Glorp is a good artist and she really brings a lot to the table. I don't mean to, misidentify anybody, but I think as a girl. And you'll see she has a bit of a vibe of Julie Doucette later, in my opinion. I really like what she does. In fact, I really like what everybody in this book has brought to the table. They really brought something they can really be proud of. Okay, there's The Keys to the Kingdom, and Cochlea and Eustanican, or something like that. I'm sorry, my reading isn't so hot there. That's another Hans Rickett book. And finally, we have Chook Farm by Glenn Pearce. All right, let's take a look at the actual art. Oh, this is actually dedicated to supporting independent artists. And when I was looking at this first page, sorry to go off on a bit of a tangent, we haven't really even started. But I think this is an essential page. This could be like something like what Previews has become, the catalog that Diamond has put out, except you actually get a taste for a lot of really cool stuff here. And I think that Lone Stranger is really onto something here. Something to give a nice preview and a nice taste to the stuff that's really, really cool and coming soon. The comic industry as a whole is chaotic. It's really hard to find the stuff that really kicks ass. And look who's done the work. The Lone Stranger, once again. Hi-Yo Silver. Okay. Let's check out page, I guess 2 it would be. Alright, this would be The Adventures of Momo. This is by the two brothers, Scott and Steve. But they have brought a lot to the table here. They really think a lot of stuff out. As you can see, there are little maps of where the characters live and etc., where the adventures take place. Scott says, Momo is just this huge labor of love. So it's the kind of project where I draw entire world maps that end up only being seen in 1% of the issue. I can understand that sometimes can be very time consuming, but you've really built an awesome little world here. Now, this is just a preview. You can see some of his comics over here. This is just a preview, so I didn't really get enough of a taste for this, but I certainly would like more of this. And this is more of the same. Now, I get a real Lone Wolf and Cub vibe here. Let me point the camera up there so you can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, you look at that and you think like Stan Sakai, like Usagi Yojimbo, or you think of Toshiro Mifune. But really cool. And over here we have some images as well. These are cover inks, cover designs that they worked on. Okay. Now, here we go. Do you see what I was talking about earlier about the Julie Doucette vibe here? More so on this page than over here. Like over here, I'd say I see maybe a Jamie Hewlett kind of vibe, but it's really its own thing here. It's pretty damn cool. But these are really awesome. I really like this picture here that really stands out amongst the chaos of these two pages. Now, when I turn the page, you're really going to think a dirty plot. Like, look at that. That really, really seems reminiscent of that stuff. Now, we come over here, and I remember really enjoying this. I don't know why, but they really onto something. A lot of symbolism in the stories here, or in this particular story here. Just a really cool thing, and of course, I'm gonna like your big vehicles. That's really cool stuff. All right, I remember this as Joshua of Grand Rapids. This is an awesome style here. Some of this gets a little randy, so don't turn the channel off just because you saw a little winky doodle or two or three. Okay, there you go. I really, really like these colors. He really brought his A game here. This is really cool. I'm sorry, my fingers are stuck together. So there we go. Sport, squip, pant, green. Okay, there's the Fonz. Hey. I really enjoyed this story. It seems like a slice of life kind of thing. You can identify with the freak flags flying. And they're really flying. I remember when I got to this part feeling a bit off-put, you know, like I wasn't sure where it was going. Then the crazy really takes over here. And anyone that knows me knows that I love crazy. Now, speaking of crazy, cover your eyes, boys and girls, because the next page is the legendary Tim Vigil. First of all, this is considered a sketch cover. This is like next level to me. Like, even though it's something like sexual and vulgar, at the same time, it's very beautiful. He really knows how to depict things in such a way that I can really appreciate it. Now, this is maybe not to some of your taste, but I really liked it. Shout out to Tim Vigil. I will once again put a link in the description of this video. Okay, now I really like this art. You'll notice actually that there's really no borders on this. He just tells his story the way he wants to tell it, without any of the trappings of comics. I can really appreciate that. Now we have more of the same on this side. And then over here, attention masturbators. This style I really thought was great. This is very fluid. This is Hans, I believe, Hans Ricken. But everybody seems to have a life of their own. And even though they're up to shenanigans, you really kind of identify with the three girls that are the focus here. It's a bit surreal, but it's also very lovely. And then here we have a style. It reminded me of Juice Schwartz, I believe his name was, from Raw magazine. I don't know if I'm the only one who sees that, but this style is like, it reminds me of like a Tintin kind of style, but obviously a different subject matter. You can instantly recognize Casanova Frankenstein over here. And this is Nate McDonough, I believe. Once again, I'm going to butcher your name, sorry. But that's really cool. I would definitely buy that off the stands if I saw that. The same goes for Casanova's book there. As cool as my store is, they probably wouldn't get these in without a little coaxing on my part. So I'll bring this to my comic store and show it off and see if it meets their interest. I remember staring at this page quite a while. That is really cool. I have no idea what's going on really. It just looks amazing. So does this. Some eyeball injury to the eye magic. It always brings me wanting more. Okay, now here is another upcoming guide that you can use to look at other cool stuff here. Now, I've already gone over everybody's names, and everybody's name is linked below in the description. So I'm actually going to skip to my favorite section. With no offense to anybody else, but they really brought their A game here, I think. I really like the backgrounds. I like the staircases. The very, very light blue hue. This is like top notch. This, I would definitely buy this book. There's an armadillo on the ceiling. Of course. Where else would an armadillo go? And this is some really crazy, surreal stuff here. And that's actually the last page. So let's close on an image that's really cool here with the chicken once again. That book once again is a 3T. That's Told to Tell. And it was organized by a lone stranger. You can look him up on Instagram. I'll put him in the comments and the links below. And I'll probably scroll that as well during the making of this video in the post-production period. Anyways, thank you very much for sending this to me. I really appreciate it. I'll grab this mini book to show off on last time as well. And thanks a lot for sending me this. I really appreciate it. And it's really going to have to find a cool home in my room here, amongst my many, many books. Anyways, once again, I'm James Windsor-Smith, and thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you next time on Outstanding Achievement in the Field